Can we conduct in English or Malay? In English. So I think for my first question to Ton, what is human right in your view?
Human right is, of course, a new concept because human society has gone through many centuries in which those in power consider them as authorized to do anything they like to the citizens, to the people. And this includes, of course, killing them or jailing them for no real reason. See, so because of that, this concept of human rights was actually mooted by Europeans, mainly actually Jewish people who were persecuted in Europe. So when they were persecuted, of course, it is because in those days people do not respect human rights. But once they respect human rights, then they cannot persecute people without any reason. The Jews used to be kept in ghettos. They used to be massacred every now and again by the Europeans, not by Asians, by the Europeans. And because of that, the Jewish thinkers, together with some non-Jews, began to think that it is not right, and therefore there are certain rights that every human being should have, that is freedom from persecution, freedom from injustice, and other things. So that is considered as human right. And that the Western thinking is that it applies even to individuals. However, in the West, when they give human rights to individuals, they forget the rights of the society. So they sometimes, in the exercise of human rights by individuals, they negate, they destroy the rights of the society. So for them, the individual is always right, whatever the individual does, because it is considered as human right. For us, we think that society also has rights, and society is made up of human beings also, and all human beings have rights. So even if you want to exercise your individual right, it must not take away the rights of human society. That is our view, Asian view, and that is why we cannot support the Western concept of human rights 100%. We look after the individuals. We honor the rights of individuals, but not to such an extent that in the exercise of their rights, they deny the rights of others.
So I think there's an argument that, especially right now, that human rights is universal. So then also you come up with the, like you mentioned just now, Asian views or Asian values. I think you popularize the concept. So do you think it's compatible between these two ideas of universal human rights and Asian values at the same time?
Yes, that is their perception of human rights, that the right of the individuals is superior to all other rights. We cannot accept that because society made up of individuals also, made up the society. They also have their rights. So as much as the majority society cannot deprive the individual of human rights, is right, that individual also cannot deprive society of their rights. Now I'll give you an example. In America, there are certain very conservative people who live in a suburban area. Of course, they maintain high moral standards. That is also their right, to maintain high moral standards is their right. Now an individual comes and puts up a cinema in order to show pornographic pictures. Now this undermines the morality of the children of these people. They have a right to object to this deliberate undermining of their rights by this individual. But when they went to the court decided that this man's right is superior to the right of the community. So the judgment was that the community's right is not important. What is important is the right of this individual to actually undermine the morality of the children of this community.
So I think back to the point that you mentioned, actually about morality. So probably because we are Muslim, we have our morality based on Islam. So in the West, for example, their morality based on rationality. So probably their way of thinking about human rights is a bit different from us. So they think Islam or culture play a crucial role in our definition of human rights. What do you think?
Yeah, if everybody has rights, then the Muslims also have rights. They have a right to live the way of the Muslims. And of course, Muslims have got very strict rules regarding modesty, that you cannot uncover yourself. So because of that, our morality standard requires that women must be properly dressed. Men also must be properly dressed. But women must be properly dressed. They have to wear the tudung. They have to wear the baju close to cover the whole body, except for the hands and the face. So that is their right to exercise their own moral standards. But supposing the Europeans say, no, you cannot do this. You must allow women to walk around with hardly any clothing. They have swimming trunks and all that, hardly any clothing. In fact, in some Western society, they even walk naked. Then you also see in Western society, they have accepted that the marriage is not something that everybody must uphold. That if you don't want to marry but you want to live together, that is all right. They have also decided that the family is not made up of a man and a woman married together, legally married together. You can have a family, even if you are not married. You sleep around with somebody, you have a baby, that is a family. And sometimes men living with a man, woman living with a woman is their right. But that offends the rights of the Muslims. So you must respect the rights of the Muslims to have their own code of morality. If you say no, you shouldn't have this code of morality, you are denying the Muslim their rights as human beings. So Muslims have every right to maintain their own standards of morality. If you don't allow them, then you are taking away their rights.
So I think many Western also, I think accuse you as an anti-imperialist. So they, I don't know whether your view is that human rights actually is the concept that used as a tool by the West to with the idea of neo-imperialism. What do you think?
Yeah, but people should be free to live free from oppression or subjugation by other powers. That is their right. So when you find that one race takes over the land of another race, you are denying that race their rights. So imperialism is not in accordance with human rights. If you believe in human rights, then you should free people. After that, it is their choice what they want to do. You see, you cannot say, well, even though you are free, but you must obey this, you must obey that. Then you are not giving them freedom. Like now they say, well, you must have globalization. Even if it damages your economy, you must have. when you say you must have, you are denying his right to determine what he wants. You see? So it is against human right.
Yeah. So I think I want to go back to your ideas about Asian values. So what is actually what's Asian value? Actually, according to your views.
Asian value.
Asian value.
Asian value. Asian value is slightly different. We accept human rights, but we also, when we say human rights, we mean the right of everybody, not just one individual. Supposing one individual wants to disrupt the whole country by exploding a bomb, that takes away the rights of the majority. They want to live in peace, and the individual wants to use a bomb to destroy the society. That is not acceptable. But the West seems to think that anything a man does is right. But if the society objects, then it is wrong. Because when the man does something that denies the rights of the society, then of course it is also a denial of human rights.
Do you think Asian value is still relevant right now? Because I think there's no others leaders, even Malaysian leaders, that talks about Asian values. I think the concept is very good. I don't know whether your views, whether it's still relevant right now. Or
I'm not the only one. As you know, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew also talks about Asian values. We have certain values in that we have to restrain ourselves. You know, you cannot just, because you are free, you have freedom of the press, for example. Therefore, you can say in the press nasty things about other people, tell lies in the press. That is not right, because you are denying the other person a right. He may not be able to reply because he may not have access to the press or to the media. So that is a denial of human rights of other people. So although you have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, etc., freedom of religion, but you have to respect the rights of other people also, not only your rights. I mean, supposing you say, well, it's my right, I want to walk into the church naked. I mean, you are offending, you are taking away the rights of the churchgoers. You see, that is wrong. That is Asian values. You see, we respect not just one man's right, but the right of every man.
Okay, and back to the question about freedom of speech that you touched just now. Freedom of speech, freedom of the media. So now you're turning to become a bloggers right now. So do you think that we still want to maintain the status right now, freedom in the cyberspace, or do you think that because there's not many perception right now, especially from the government, that bloggers tend to manipulate things, everything. So what do you think? Whether
here, what is happening with bloggers is that they do not have access to the mainstream media. That is a denial of their rights. So they go to the internet where they can express themselves. But even though they can express themselves, they must not tell lies to undermine the security of the nation. You know, supposing the man writes in his, on a certain day, we have information that somebody is going to explode a bomb in the market. I mean, that is denial of human rights of the others, because it is not true in the first place. So you cannot abuse your right. You have the right to tell the truth, to argue your case, but you don't have the right to say things which are not true in order to create trouble. Because when you have trouble, then other people lose their rights. Even the right to demonstrate, for example. You have a right to demonstrate. But you have also to remember that when you demonstrate, other people suffer. Ordinarily, other people. Supposing there are a lot of people doing business along the street, and you carry out daily demonstration, you are taking away the rights of the people who are doing business, because now they cannot do business. So whose right is more important? You want to do a demonstration, you go to the field and demonstrate there. then you don't take away the rights of other people. But when you demonstrate in the streets, especially when you become violent, then of course you are denying the rights of the people who are trying to make a living in the street.
But they can argue that they didn't get permit to hold such a demonstration, so that's why they go to the street. So what
Well, if you don't get permit, the thing to do in a democracy is for you to campaign. You can campaign not only by demonstration, you can campaign another way and try to bring down the government and change it and have another government.
Okay, back to the Asian value. I think there's an argument, a debate, that you during your premiership you tend to prioritize certain rights rather than other rights. For example, you prioritize economic, social, and cultural rights rather than civil and political rights. So, what do you think?
We prioritize because this thing gives direct benefit to the people. But when you have a civil society in which the people, like the NGOs, undermine the rights of others, that we cannot allow. You see, you can have your right. You want to take action, you can go somewhere which doesn't impact on other people. That is your right. But you don't have a right to undermine other people's right. You see, that is why we want to we want peace and stability so as to improve the growth of the economy. And the growth of the economy benefits a lot of people. This is their right. You see, but when we have a few people exploding bombs, like you see in some countries where they have suicide bombers, I mean, they do that thing and they deny the rights of the community to live in peace and do business for themselves. You see, remembering, because these people also may be very poor. When you explode a bomb somewhere, no more people come to that place to buy things, and these people will suffer.
So, but now I think since the end of our last election, 2008 general election, there's a tendency among the people that demanding more civil and political rights. So actually, we are also moving towards that. There's some argue that probably we are moving towards two-party system and so on. So what do you think about the future of Malaysia or even current Malaysia?
Well, it is right, of course, for them to demand, but the effect of that is for the other party also to make demands, and then you create tension. You create tension. Of course, the stability of the country is undermined. When the stability is undermined, everybody suffers. You lose your right to live in peace. You see, so you should, if you have a demand, you should negotiate peacefully and not start making irresponsible accusation. You see, which will only result in some counter remarks by the other party, and then there will be confrontation, tension, and even violence. And when you reach that stage, of course, you are undermining the whole country. And you undermine the whole country, the people cannot live in peace, and they cannot do their own business and make a living. So that to that extent, we have to limit your rights to undermine the whole country.
So do you think we are actually heading to a two-party system? Do you think?
I don't know whether it is a two-party system. Of course, the two-party system has got nothing to do with human rights.
Yeah.
See, just because we have two parties doesn't mean that there will be human rights.
Yeah, that's right.
We have seen countries with two-party system which does not allow for human rights in many areas. It's not the two-party system which will uphold human rights. It's the quality of the leadership that you choose.